This is Fleet Admiral Yuki Tanaka, Supreme Commander of Terran Defense. What I am about to share is the complete record of the Battle for Earth, the largest military engagement in galactic history, the day humanity almost died, and the day we learned what we had truly built across 3 centuries among the stars. This is Case File 001 Final. This is the story of how 47 species came to save us. The Void Collective had no homeworld, no culture, no history that anyone could discover. They were a swarm, a hunger-given form, moving through the galaxy, consuming everything in their path. For 10,000 years, they had spread across the stars. Entire civilizations had been devoured. Species that had flourished for millennia simply ceased to exist. The Void did not conquer. They did not enslave. They consumed and moved on, leaving nothing but empty worlds and silent stars. When they turned toward Federation space, we thought we were prepared. We were wrong. The first engagement was a massacre. The Third Fleet, 60 ships, encountered a Void advance force of 2,000. They lasted 11 minutes. The second engagement was worse. The combined 4th and 5th Fleets, 120 vessels, faced a Void armada of 5,000. They lasted 23 minutes. We learned quickly that conventional tactics were useless. The Void did not fight like any enemy we had encountered. They did not hold formations. They did not protect critical assets. They simply swarmed, overwhelming defenses through sheer numbers, sacrificing thousands of their own ships to destroy dozens of ours. For 6 months, we retreated. System after system fell. Colony after colony was consumed. Humanity lost 42 worlds and 18 million people. And the Void kept coming. By March of 2394, Federation intelligence confirmed our worst fears. The full Void Collective was converging on Sol System. 200,000 ships, the largest invasion force ever assembled in galactic history. They were coming for Earth. I was given command of Terran Home Defense 3 weeks before the Void arrived. My orders were simple: hold Sol System as long as possible. No one said we could win. No one believed we could survive. We were simply expected to buy time for civilian evacuations that everyone knew would not save nearly enough people. I had 3,000 ships, 3,000 vessels to face 200,000. I did not tell my crews about the odds. They could do the mathematics themselves. Instead, I told them about duty, about honor, about what it meant to be the last line of defense for 8 billion people. I told them that if humanity was going to die, we would die standing. The Void arrived on April 7th at 0600 hours. They emerged from hyperspace beyond Neptune's orbit, a wall of ships so vast that our sensors could not count them all. 200,000 signatures, perhaps more. Their advance was immediate. No communication, no demands, no pause. They simply began moving toward Earth, a tide of destruction that nothing had ever stopped. I ordered the fleet to defensive positions around Mars. It was our best option, using the planet's gravity well to anchor our formation, forcing the Void to come to us. The first engagement began at 0947. 30,000 Void ships hit our defensive line simultaneously. We killed hundreds, thousands. Our weapons carved through their formations. Our tactics exploited their mindless aggression. But for every ship we destroyed, 10 more took its place. By hour 2, we had lost 300 vessels. The Void had lost perhaps 8,000. The mathematics had not changed. By hour 4, We had lost 700 vessels. Our defensive line was fracturing. Individual squadrons were being isolated and overwhelmed. The void pressed forward, relentless, uncaring, infinite. I ordered a fighting retreat to Earth orbit. It was all we could do. By hour 6, we had 1,500 ships remaining. Half our fleet gone. The void had lost perhaps 20,000, but they still had 180,000 vessels advancing on Earth. I stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and watched the tactical display. Red icons everywhere. Our blue signatures shrinking by the minute. Earth behind us, helpless, waiting. My communications officer was crying at her station. She had a daughter in Tokyo, a son in Sao Paulo. She would never see them again. I did not cry. I could not afford to. I simply watched the display and waited for the end. At hour 6, minute 47, everything changed. My sensor officer's voice cracked with confusion. "Admiral, I'm reading an energy signature. Massive, unlike anything in our database." I looked at the display. Something was forming near Jupiter. A distortion in space-time. Growing. "It's a portal, Admiral. Someone is opening a hyperspace portal inside the system." My heart stopped. If the void had reinforcements, the portal opened, and the Vorn battle fleet emerged. 3,000 warships, the distinctive angular design of humanity's former enemies. The species we had humbled at the Battle of Meridian 4. The hunters who had learned to respect human strength. The Vorn commander's transmission reached us seconds later. "Admiral Tanaka, this is War Master Keth Vorath of the Vorn Dominion. We have come to honor a debt. Humans taught us that courage means standing against impossible odds. Today, we stand with you." I could not speak. I could not process what I was seeing. Then another portal opened. The Cathari swarm emerged. 2,000 vessels, the insectoid species whose ancient war with the Vorn had been ended by a single human medic, a species that had built monuments to human compassion. Their queen's voice echoed across our communications. "The Angel of Nexus 7 saved our people. Today, we save hers." Another portal. The Korvax hegemony. 1,500 ships. The species we had defeated at the Battle of Sol, then helped rebuild instead of destroying. Humanity showed us mercy when they could have shown us extinction. We remember. Another portal, and another, and another. The Rithani Collective, the Thessian Empire, the Maxari Federation, the Selenthri. Species we had fought, species we had saved, species we had traded with, negotiated with, shown kindness to across 3 centuries of galactic presence. One by one, they came. 47 species. 100,000 ships. The largest allied fleet in galactic history, emerging through portals across Sol system to stand beside humanity. My communications officer was laughing and crying at the same time. My bridge crew was cheering. The tactical display that had shown nothing but death now showed hope. One transmission cut through the chaos, a familiar voice, speaking words that would echo through history. Admiral Chen Wei, hero of the Virathi campaign, commanding the combined Allied fleet from her flagship. "Admiral Tanaka, I brought some friends. I hope you don't mind." I found my voice somehow. "Admiral Chen, you're supposed to be retired." I was. Then I heard Earth needed help. I made some calls. Some calls. 300 years of calls, Admiral. Every species humanity ever helped. Every civilization we ever saved. every world we ever showed mercy to. I reminded them that debts have a way of coming due. Her voice hardened. Today, they pay. The Allied fleet formed up around our battered survivors, ships from 47 species, flying in formation with human vessels. Colors and designs from across the galaxy, united for the first time in history. The Void Collective had never faced anything like this, and they never would again. I gave the order at hour 7, minute 12. All ships, all species, all allies. This is Admiral Tanaka. The Void came here to consume Earth, to end humanity, to add us to the silence they have spread across the galaxy. I paused, looking at the display. 100,000 Allied ships, 300 years of human history, standing beside us. They will not succeed. Today, we do not fight as humans alone. We fight as a galaxy united. Every species the Void has threatened, every civilization they would consume, every world that refuses to go quietly into their darkness. I raised my hand. All ships, advance. Show them what happens when they threaten our home. The battle for Earth truly began. 100,000 Allied ships surged forward to meet 180,000 Void vessels. The largest engagement in recorded history. Ships dying by the thousands on both sides. Weapons fire so intense that space itself seemed to burn. But something was different now. The Void had always won through numbers, through overwhelming force, through the certainty that no enemy could match their endless swarm. Now they faced a swarm of their own. Vorn dreadnoughts smashed through Void formations, their warriors fighting with a fury born from centuries of hunters' pride. They had been apex predators once. Now they proved it again. Cathari swarm ships coordinated with perfect hive-mind precision. Thousands of small vessels acting as one organism, tearing through Void clusters with surgical efficiency. Korvax carriers launched fighter waves that darkened the stars, their pilots flying with the desperate courage of a species that had been given a second chance. And humans. 300 years of accumulated fury, unleashed alongside our allies. We fought for Earth. We fought for everyone we had lost. We fought to prove that the Void's hunger would end here. The battle raged for 11 hours. 11 hours of continuous combat across the Sol system. 11 hours of ships dying and ships killing. 11 hours of the largest military engagement any species had ever witnessed. By hour 15, the mathematics had shifted. The Void had lost over 100,000 ships. Their endless swarm was no longer endless. For the first time in their existence, they were being matched, being beaten. By hour 18, they began to retreat. The Void Collective, the hunger that had consumed half the galaxy, the darkness that had never been stopped, fled from Sol system. We pursued. For 3 days, the combined Allied fleet hunted Void remnants across 4 star systems. We did not offer mercy. We did not accept surrender. We destroyed every Void ship we could find. And when it was over, when the last Void signature had vanished from our sensors, we gathered our fleet around Earth. 47 species, thousands of ships damaged and destroyed, hundreds of thousands of casualties across every civilization. But Earth stood. Humanity survived. And we had not survived alone. The aftermath of the battle for Earth reshaped the galaxy forever. The Void Collective was broken. They would trouble no one for centuries to come. Their reign of consumption had ended in Sol system, against an alliance that should have been impossible. But more than that, something new had been born. For 300 years, humanity had struggled to find our place among the stars. We had made enemies and friends. We had fought wars and negotiated peace. We had shown strength and compassion in equal measure. We had not known if any of it mattered. Now we knew. 47 species had come to save us. 100,000 ships had answered our call. The galaxy we had fought for, traded with, helped and hurt and learned from, had decided that humanity was worth saving. That was our legacy. Not the battles we won, not the enemies we defeated, not the strength we demonstrated. Our legacy was the relationships we built, the debts we created through kindness, the bonds we forged through mercy. The Vorn came because we had shown them courage. The Cathari came because we had shown them compassion. The Korvax came because we had shown them mercy. Every species that answered our call had a reason, a moment when humanity had touched their civilization and left something good behind. We had spent 300 years planting seeds across the galaxy. On the day of our greatest need, we harvested them all. I stood on the observation deck of the Indomitable after the battle, watching the Allied fleet spread across Earth orbit. Ships from 47 species, flying in formation, united. Admiral Chen joined me. She looked as exhausted as I felt. 300 years, she said quietly. Every alliance we built, every species we helped, every act of mercy we showed. It all came back. How did you know they would come? She smiled. I didn't. I hoped. I called in every favor, reminded every ally, reached out to every species that owed us anything. I told them humanity needed help. And they came. They came. She paused. Every single one I contacted. Not one refused. Not one hesitated. They dropped everything and came to save us. I thought about that. 47 species. Civilizations that had been enemies. Cultures that had been strangers. Peoples that had no reason to risk their own lives for ours. They came anyway. Because we had given them reasons, not through conquest, not through force, through something simpler. We had been good neighbors, and when our house was burning, the neighborhood showed up to help. This is Fleet Admiral Yuki Tanaka, signing off. Case File 001. Final is now closed. The Void came for Earth with 200,000 ships. We met them with 3,000, and then the portals opened. 47 species, 100,000 ships, 300 years of debts, paid in full. They say no species has ever united the galaxy, that the differences between civilizations are too vast. That alliance on that scale is impossible. They are wrong. Humanity united the galaxy. Not through war, through something the Void could never understand. Connection, compassion. The simple truth that when you help others, they remember. The battle for Earth was won by 100,000 ships, but it was truly won 300 years earlier, one act of kindness at a time. Remember that. The next time you have a chance to help someone, to show mercy, to build a bridge instead of burning one, remember what we learned at Earth. Today's kindness is tomorrow's reinforcement. And when the darkness comes for you, you do not want to face it alone. We did not face it alone. And that made all the difference.